A sport we cannot write and talk about enough at Sports Business Journal is pickleball. Just the explosion, particularly on the participatory side, but a lot to write about and talk about on the business side. Here to help us break it all down, the commissioner of Major League Pickleball and also the chief strategy officer of the UPA, Samin Odhwani. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it for having me, man. I'm excited.
Awesome. So the first thing I got to ask is how did you become interested in pickleball?
So, look, I was fortunate right before this role. I was working for Kevin Durant and his venture investment fund, 35 Ventures, which I'm sure you guys have covered a bunch as
Rich
well.
Kleiman, yeah,
Yep, the whole squad. So, look, we were investing in all the different emerging sports leagues, PLL, Major League Soccer, NWSL, League One Volleyball, and I was a partner of you guys. And I convinced KD to buy a pickleball team in late 22. And so as we're getting the board decks and investor presentations of all of these different sports properties, what stood out to me was the fact that pickleball, at least from, like you said, a participatory standpoint, growing at an order of magnitude above all these other sports, to where I said, look, these are all incredible properties, but what I'm seeing here from a macro standpoint is really a level above. So I had a unique opportunity to kind of go all in on the sport. I had worked at the NBA right before working with KD, so I felt like I saw what the big leagues were like, and now it was time to kind of see something on the earlier side of things and see if we could crack into that upper echelon of sports.
So your role as commissioner with Major League Pickleball involves not just the business side, but also competition side. Is it important for the commissioner to kind of have control of both of those sides of the business?
100%. I think the thing that gets lost on people sometimes is when you're a nascent league, it's actually more important to nail the business than the competition part. But what the irony in that is your team owners tend to care about the competition stuff a little bit more than the business stuff. Oh, what's our trade rules? How does the waiver wire work? Oh, what's the draft going to look like? And you want to spend time and resources on all that stuff, but at the same time, we want our events to be full and we want to sell sponsors and we want to get a media deal. And so I would guess that my balance of time, as much as I can at least, try and lean more business versus competition, but you got to have a lens on both, because if you make the competition part exciting, it's a lot easier to pitch the fans and the audience and the people that you want to kind of tune in on what makes this sport exciting.
Something we see a lot with young and emerging leagues is they want to take advantage of local markets as they continue to grow. We see it with Premier Lacrosse League. We see it with the Big Three and them selling local franchises. How does MLP plan to take advantage and really emphasize local markets?
So one of the best parts about pickleball is it's extremely asset light. If you think about what it takes to stand up a game, you basically need 20 feet by 44 feet, and you can build some stuff around it for people to sit in and have a VIP section and whatever else that might mean. So what that has allowed us to do, and we're doing it for the first time this year, is go and host each of our events, because we are kind of like Formula One, where we travel around the country sort of circuit style, but each of our events is hosted by one of our teams.
Okay.
So opening weekend, the DeVos family, they own the Orlando Squeeze. We were in Orlando. Last weekend, we were in Daytona Beach, which was hosted by our Florida team. And so it's been fun for us to kind of allow teams to mold and make those events feel like their own. So we were in Austin, and they had that whole keep Austin weird vibe going, you know? And we had Freebirds as the caterer. So I think what's been fun is we've been able to sort of start to create those touch points locally. And then the big push has been, hey, team owners, what's your facility plan? How are you going to build sort of a grassroots opportunity for your fans to get into the sport and have a touch point with your team? And I think I love what the Ravens are doing with PLL and obviously some of those other, city-based sports leagues, but they don't have that touch point. Or you saw that a little bit with TGL.
They're just now developing it for the
exactly,
first time.
Totally. And because the sport of pickleball is so asset light, it makes it a little bit easier to have that touch point, because we can sort of build out a court, do an exhibition, do a showcase, have people attend, and you feel like you've been able to at least touch some people locally and get them introduced to their team.
How important are national media rights to your strategy?
I think they're significant, but at the same time, we're building this thing brick by brick. And so one of the, I think, biggest hurdles we have is an awareness problem that pro pickleball exists. I can go into rooms now, and you and I were just kind of talking before the cameras hit go. I don't have to explain pickleball to you. I can say pickleball and you know what it is, right? And so now that we've crossed that threshold, I think a big focus for us is creating awareness amongst all of the people that are playing. I know exactly who I'm going after. I'm going after the people that are playing, which actually makes the media rights conversation even easier, because it says, hey, we know the demographic. There's 20 million people playing. We're the 5th most participated in sport in America. If you fundamentally believe that if a sport has a bunch of people that play, then a bunch of people will watch. And if you believe that thesis, then like we're well on our way to having a massive media rights opportunity. And so for us, it's about being selective of, okay, which partner wants to go along that ride with us?
All right, Samin, we'll get you out of here on this. Biggest challenge, biggest opportunity facing Major League Pickleball.
I think the biggest challenge is we, in some respects, have sort of a reputational, issue and awareness problem with pickleball, right? Like it started in COVID. People were popping up nets and they're playing in their backyards, they're playing community areas. And I think now it's grown so quickly that you sort of run into this dynamic where it's like, is it a real sport? Like you're hitting a wiffle ball with a carbon fiber paddle. Like how serious?
Having tried it once, I want to tell everybody it is a real sport.
100%. And that's what I try and sort of convey to people when they ask me that question is, look, what our athletes are doing from a hand speed, from a foot speed, from a hand-eye coordination standpoint is on the level of top athletes in the world. And it's on us to sort of translate that to the audience, whether it's through media, whether it's through having people come out to our event and attend. Like, to me, that's the biggest challenge is we've got, to fill this top of funnel and make people understand that what our sport is doing is as exciting, as entertaining, as compelling as some of the other ones. I think the biggest opportunity is we don't know what the ceiling is for how many people are going to play and just sort of what the infrastructure is going to look like and all these sort of changes that we're seeing in the landscape. And so every single year, right, report comes out, pickleball, #1 growing sport in America. Okay, great. How many years is that going to happen? Like, are we going to get to 50 million people playing? Are we going to get like half of America has like played pickleball at some point that year? And so I do think that probably is the biggest opportunity for us is we really have a chance to be the largest sport in America.
Well, I know we're going to continue to pay attention to everything going on with your league here at the Sports Business Journal. Samin Odhwani, the commissioner of Major League Pickleball, thank you for taking the time to chat with SBJ.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, and go Jackets.
Go Jackets.